Howard.
Sean.
There you go, man. Today we have got a very, very special guest here on Coptails and Cocktails. Man, this guy has been doing law enforcement, policing, crime fighting, whatever you want to call it, almost as long as, more than either one of us have been alive.
Yeah, both of us are pretty old.
And we're old. I've been doing this almost 25 years. So I'm approaching 50. You're roughly 50. And he's got more time. You know what they say in this profession, I've got more time on the toilet than you do on the job, type of deal. And I think our guest here out of Camden, Arkansas is LC Buckshot Smith.
LC Smith.
LC Smith.
Well, hey, welcome, Mr. Smith. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
All right. Well, we kind of alluded to your time on this earth, and today is your birthday, is it not?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Could you tell us how old you are today?
92.
92 years old.
92 years old. 92. Good for you, sir. So
We're going to give you
a little applause right
absolutely.
there. So in this day and age, getting 92 is no joke.
No.
Especially, this profession. And, I don't know the exact statistical number, but I think I've read something that talks about people in law enforcement typically pass away. I think it's like 15 years within retirement.
Really?
It is. We have one of the lowest, rates following retirement and death. And so, to make it to 92 in any profession, let alone law enforcement, is quite the achievement. And on top of that, still working.
Well, Mr. Smith, can you tell us when you started as a police officer?
I started out working for Camden Police in 58, free.
1958.
Yeah.
And
19.
he was working free.
Free.
Why were you working for free back then, sir?
Yes, sir.
And why were you working
were
for
you
free back then?
To help others. I wanted to be a police officer so bad. I taken a job working free. I was working ball games and Halloween. All football, baseball, and little league, and softball.
That's incredible, and that's, we got a lot of cops that actually do that. They kind of
Really?
volunteer. We've got like a reserve police officer. I myself in Tulsa started out when I was a college kid. I was a reserve police officer working for free. There are a lot of agencies around the country that do that. And it's people who either have established jobs that they don't want to leave their profession and be a police officer, or they are people just like LC was saying here, who wanted to be a police officer. And so, man, you see an opportunity, something you can do to get your foot in the door, you jump on it.
I got you. So, hey, LC, you know that we have a drink on this show, don't you? We kind of told you about that, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, and you're in uniform, so I assume you're not going to be able to drink with us. We appreciate you taking your time out of your busy policing schedule to talk to us, but you can't have a drink with us, can you?
I've been drunk one time.
One time. We've been drunk one time, sir, too. It's just repeated itself several times.
It's like Groundhog Day over and over again.
It may have been. You can't tell by our new studio and our selection of drinks. But today we're gonna have a drink. We kind of had an opportunity to pick like a barrel of bourbon from a really well-known distillery. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to get your advice on which one you need to look at our face and tell us which one looks better on our face when we drink it. Okay. That's going to be your job.
By our reaction. So, so what we've got is actually a liquor store here in Tulsa. It's called Park Hill Liquors. The owner of it's Lance Parkhill, great friend of Coptails and Cocktails. And as Howard mentioned, he is getting a barrel pick. So he's going to get an entire barrel from. We've got LC Buckshot on here. Since you're an old buck, we're going to sample some
old elk. That's what we thought would go well. So what do you think?
So
we got two samples we're going to try. So each one of us is going to try a sample. I have a much better palate than Sean because I am I've been drinking bourbon a lot longer. He likes swill most of the time, but he's coming around. So when it comes down to who's actually palate is going to be choosing this, it's going to be me.
It will be him.
It will be.
It will be him.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we've got the Old Elk, we've got the Old Elk weeded,
Yes, it's right there.
and then we've got the Old Elk straight bourbon. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a sample of each one of these, and between we'll say the three of us, we're going to use your help on here.
Yeah, you
Buckshot.
get to be honorary member of picking this barrel of bourbon. How you feel about that? We might as well call it birthday bourbon, huh?
There you
After
go.
all this, I think somebody already has that name, but we could co-op a little bit. So I'm gonna try this straight weeded whiskey real quick. You got to smell it so you look sophisticated, Buckshot. That's what you do. I mean, swirl it around.
And since you guys could see him, he needs all the help to look sophisticated by far. Now, and going back to Park Hill Liquor, what they're actually going to do is they're actually going to slap a sticker on every one of these bottles that come in for our cocktails and cocktails. Our logo will be on it, so anybody in the Tulsa area or anybody outside of there can get a hold of one of these things when they'll be in here in a short time. And I think we're going to call this one what? Sticks Pick.
Yeah,
Sticks Pick. So that's the name we're going to slap on this one as well. And
but yet again, I'm gonna pick it. So just I'm like his tasted double is what I would be. I'm the one stepping in. How's that one?
it's good. That's real good.
We usually try to cleanse our palate with something, but we really, after you drink this stuff, there's no real cleansing it. This stuff's 112 proof, so it's fully lit. After we drink this, we're gonna have to call Uber to get back home because it's solid. So here's the second one. You gotta watch our faces when we drink it. See what you think. Yeah.
And this one is 107 proof.
We're gonna see. What do you think? You're gonna talk about the caramel notes and how I taste burnt sugar.
I taste maple and banana or whatever.
Yeah, dried prunes and
peanut butter
and grasshoppers.
Yeah, you name it.
Fresh cut hay. Bourbon people come up with some weird descriptors. All right, Buckshot, what did our face look like? Did we look like we enjoyed number one or number two better?
Number one.
Yeah,
number one.
Well, you are correct.
You are correct. That's it. So
that's our selection.
So you heard it right here on Cocktails. With the help of
Yes, sir.
Buckshot, we've got the weeded straight bourbon, straight whiskey from Old Elk. That'll be our barrel pick with Park Hill Liquors. All right, now that we've got that behind us, let's talk about your career. So you started out, you said back in '58, working for free. And when did you start collecting a paycheck? And before you even get into that, I want to know if you remember that first paycheck, because I remember
1962.
1962. How much was it, if you remember?
I think it was $500 a month.
Oh man, that was a lot of money back then too, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
My dad was in the service, and I know that he talks about being a private he wasn't a private, he was an airman because he was in the Air Force, but he talks about what he made. And when he first got in, it was somewhere around $350 a month, and that was in 65. So it wasn't far off. You were making more than him.
Yeah, I think when I started the police academy here in 97, I want to say my bring home check was like $540 or something. I mean, it was just something
for the month.
For the month, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Now, once you got out of the academy, you hit the streets, it jumped up quite a bit. But it was low. I mean, I went from delivering beer for Budweiser, making twice as much as I was as making a cop in the academy.
Huh. Well, hey, I'll tell you, I did a little bit of research on you, and I heard that you wanted to actually be a state trooper at one point. Was this true?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me about what happened with you becoming a state trooper?
I was 2 years too old when they start minorities. Minorities.
How old were you then, sir?
36.
Huh. So the cutoff limit to be a state trooper was 36, and it was you were
35.
35. Okay.
21 to 35.
Huh. Why did they cut off at that age?
Well, I don't know.
That's what they decided, huh?
Yes.
So you've been a cop all these years. Tell us a funny story about something that's happened.
A bunch of things that happened.
Well, give us an example of one.
Yeah. The first arrest I made in Camden, Arkansas was a white man. He told me he wasn't going with me. So
That didn't work.
the story went on. I told him, asked him if he want to go willingly by force. You know, I never hit anybody. I treat them all right, you know.
Yes, sir.
So now I understand that you also have a girlfriend named Aura. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How long have you and Aura been courting? Because that's a Southern term, courting, right?
About 5 years.
About
5
5 years,
years.
huh? You're just not ready to
Yeah.
settle down yet at 92, huh?
No.
Doesn't want to quit work, doesn't want to quit dating.
Yeah, you're gonna have your own stuff, huh?
Yes.
You know, Buckshot, Tulsa and Camden, Arkansas are what, maybe 4 or 5 hours apart? That sound about right? We might have to come out there and hang out with you. It sounds like you might be a little fun to run around with.
Absolutely. We might get you drunk for number 2.
That's right.
And you're like, you hang out with us. Who knows what will happen, you know?
Yes, sir.
Well, Buckshot, I'm looking at your all your ribbons you have there on your shirt, and you kind of look like a Mexican general
You do.
with as many as you have. So tell us about one of those.
Well, one thing is Good Samaritan. Samaritan. Helping folks. That's one of the ribbons I have on my shirt.
Is that the one you're most proud of? Is that you got into the police force so you could help people?
Yes. I like to help people.
We definitely appreciate that, folks. I don't think a lot of people know that a lot of people I'm a nurse, so we don't come into nursing because it's glamorous or our working conditions are good or our hours are great or anything like that, but we get into it because we want to help people. And it's not something that we get that from the inside. That's not something anybody can put on us. It's our intrinsic motivator that gets us out there and to help folks. And it sounds like you have the same thing.
Yes.
So you did 46 years, or if that's correct, with the sheriff's department helping people, right?
46, 8 months.
46, 8
I've been
months.
at Camden Police going on 11 years.
And you had a little small period of retirement in between the two. Is that correct?
5 months.
5 months. So Buckshot, I got to know, was it one of these deals that you didn't know how to dress yourself every day? 5 months and you didn't know what to put on.
Well,
You wear a uniform, you know what you have to wear every day. So
I missed it.
You missed it. Okay.
Yes.
And is the sheriff's department you worked for, is it right there in the Camden area? So you didn't have to
Yes,
go
sir.
far? Okay.
Yes.
So everybody there already knew Buckshot, and you just moved from the
Yeah.
sheriff's department, took a small break, and then popped back over to the police department.
Well, how big is the Camden's police department? How many folks y'all got there?
We got about 21 officers here, and we got CRD, criminal investigators.
There's about 45, 47.
47
So
in all.
It's a pretty good sized police department then.
Yes, sir. We got a good chief.
What kind of crime do you see in Camden?
Well, drugs.
Everywhere. Doesn't matter where out in the country. Doesn't matter the small towns, the big towns. They are everywhere. Howard and I actually, just before we went on the air, we're having a discussion about drugs. Unfortunately, impacting somebody I personally know here in the Tulsa area. So yeah, it's a terrible, terrible deal. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, sir. In you're guys, we're talking 46, 11 right now. So you're approaching 60 years total of law enforcement. You have seen a lot of changes. I mean, you've seen technology change. I mean, you were a police officer before ballistic vests, body cams, dash cams, computers, you name it. What has been the biggest thing you've seen that has been positive in the change of policing through the years?
Well, a lot of changes. I did a lot of things what wouldn't anybody else do as a police officer. You got to like this job in order to make a good police, and you can treat everybody right, but you can't treat everybody the same.
Yep.
And what do you mean by that? You can treat everybody right, but not everybody the same. That's kind of an interesting and wise statement there. I'd like to learn something from you.
I might say something to you. I could say that Miss Dana.
Yeah, that's true.
Another man.
Like you're ugly.
I have a different approach.
Right.
A different approach.
Gotcha. Well, that's kind of one of the beauties. I mean, we're in Oklahoma, but it's kind of like, I don't know, South light, but we still hold those values very dear to us, like politeness and manners and etiquette and being kind to one another. Those are valued, and those were beaten to me as a child. And I want to say I beat them, my kids, but they were a lot better than me, so I didn't have to. So they were just good kids that way. So yeah, that's that. I guess I kind of understand what you're saying, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, we need, not just in policing, but I think society as a whole needs a lot more of that right now.
Yeah, I mean, we need a lot more kindness, a lot more understanding.
And respect.
100%.
Yeah, respect.
Well, as long as you've been on the job, I assume you get a lot of respect, don't you, sir?
Yes, sir.
If you pull somebody over, they get out of their car and come back and grab their ticket and then get back in the car and drive off, don't they?
Most people know me. When I stop them, there's a buckshot. I know everybody from maybe 5 years old up. I helped a lot of people.
Well, we commend you for that, sir.
So basically, you're Camden. I'm sorry, Buckshot. You are all about the community policing there in Camden. I mean,
Yes,
that sounds like it's something that was instilled in you very, very early on. Kind of the old school beat cop, as we really don't see these days anymore. Cops are pretty much stuck in their cars going call to call to call. And it sounds like from an early time when you were in this profession, you were able to get out, talk to people, help people. And the fact that you've been there so long, you've just continued that through the years.
You see people when you're driving by the neighborhood, where I do it, I tell others do the same thing. Stop and talk to them folks. Wave at them. Wave at them. Be polite. Everybody.
That goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, hey,
let me tell you something else. This gun and this badge don't make no police officer. You can stick a gun on some fool.
Right.
He do the wrong thing.
So
But-
what's your normal day like? Tell me what you get up in the morning, you have a little breakfast, you go to work. About what time you get up? Tell us what your normal day's like.
I get up at 6:15 every day. I check in about from 20 minutes to 6:45 every day.
And then
And I love it coming to work.
do you go on patrol? What do you do in an average day?
Well, the first thing I do in the morning is I take care of the school buses. I have 2 school buses. I've been escorting for about 10 years.
And when you say escorting, are you driving a car and just kind of leading the buses to the school?
I
Or you
got
have-
my own police car.
Okay. And so do you drive in front of the school buses just on their route and make sure, everybody stops?
I have my lights on
Uh-huh.
and guide them to school.
So after you get done with
School.
that, after you get the kids to school, what do you do after that?
Patrol my neighborhood. I have 4 corners I make every day.
Gotcha.
4 corners of north, east, west, and south.
You forgot to turn your.
Oh,
I bet you that's Aura
that's
calling.
Aura. Somebody calling to wish,
Yeah,
someone calling to wish you a happy birthday.
Yeah, they are, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Somebody bringing you a bottle of bourbon like this one right here from Old Elk. Yeah, just like that one.
Hmm.
Well, it sounds like you have you've had a rich life, sir. Were you married at one time? Do you have children? Do you have brothers, sisters?
I've been married 4 times.
Oh goodness.
Hey, this police profession is tough on a marriage.
Hey, and it's
And
all right
2
to be.
living, 2 living and 2 dead.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Well, you sounds like you suffer from the same thing I do. I'm allergic to wedding rings, so sounds like you may have a little bit of that. Mine make
Yeah.
me. I break out and pour whenever I put a wedding ring on, so that's why I don't wear them anymore.
Yes.
So, do you have any kids?
I have 1 boy and 1 girl.
Is your son named Buckshot Jr.?
They call him Little Buck,
Little
Lil
Buck.
Buck.
Big Buck.
Little Buck and Big Buck.
Little Buck and Big Buck.
Is Little
I
Buck?
had 2 boys died in California.
Oh, good.
Sorry to hear that.
One died at 28 and the other one was 47.
Well, one of the unfortunate things about living to 92 is you outlive a lot of folks, sir, huh?
Yes, sir. It was 7 of us, and I'm the only one living in my family.
Well, other than the fact that you've only been drunk once in your life, we want to try to steal some health tips from you. Okay. So what is your secret to longevity? I mean, there's not a whole lot of people still working at 92, much less getting around at 92. So what's your secret, boss?
I don't eat a lot of fast food.
Oh, okay. No McDonald's for you, huh?
No,
No.
no.
What do you eat then?
Greens, peas, beans,
Sounds like
potatoes.
you got a garden, huh?
Yes, sir.
How big a garden you got? You got any butter beans in there? Because I like some butter beans.
I had some baby lambs yesterday.
Oh, those
Oh,
are good.
yeah. Good ones.
Hot water cornbread.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Are,
I
are
made it
you
myself.
are you a meat guy at all?
I don't care too much about meat.
Okay.
Really?
Mm.
Well, I guess we're gonna start
I
having
eat
to.
it.
We're
I
doomed.
used to sometimes.
I don't think we're gonna make it to 92, sir.
Yeah.
We don't eat a lot of lima beans,
I-
unfortunately.
And I hate peas
Yeah, he doesn't eat peas,
and I like meat.
and we might drink a little bit. I think we might be in trouble.
Yeah, I got to make some changes
we,
fast.
we definitely have to make some changes.
But got to know, and I'm sure everybody keeps asking you this: how long are you going to keep doing it? How long are you going to get up in the morning and put that uniform on and escort that
When the
school
good
bus?
Lord says time to go, I'm waiting on the good Lord.
I think there's a lot of time left in you.
Yes,
I really do.
I'm
You've
a
got-
deacon at my church, and I don't run around. I don't hunt. I don't fish, and I wouldn't have nothing to do.
yeah, that's the biggest thing. You gotta keep yourself busy. And I think that's what I was talking about earlier. I think a lot of these guys in this profession, it's their identity. For some of them, it's all they know. And so
Right.
once they retire and they hang up that badge, man, it's just like an internal suffering.
Yeah.
And it just weighs on them. And so, Buckshot here is lucky he could get picked up at another agency and keep on moving.
Absolutely. We should all be so lucky.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, in parting, is there anything you want to share with our audience? There's probably 3 or 4 people listening right now, so we get it out there and they can hear some more pearls of wisdom that you have, sir.
One thing I want to say, this is a good department. The Camden Police, good department. We have nice people working here, and I love them. I love everybody that work here.
Well, there's
And, Miss Dana doing a good job on takes care of my stuff for me.
well, Howard takes care of my stuff for me. So
And it's not easy.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
easy.
Howard's my Miss Dana. That's what I'm gonna start calling him from now on here on the show. Miss Dana.
I get a t-shirt. It says
Next
not a
week,
cop.
next
Miss
week
Dana.
next week he'll be wearing one that says Miss Dana, and everybody that listen this week will know what it means.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely. We'll start sending you some royalties. We'll start selling them.
Hey, well, Miss Dana, since we kind of have you in the background, stick your head in here for a second since you made it on the podcast. Oh, there's Miss
Yes.
Dana. Don't push Buckshot all the way out. He's over
Yeah,
there.
no, we got to love on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us tell us a little bit about Buckshot from y'all's view. I think he's a little modest guy and he doesn't like talking. I think he's not going to sing his praises, but anybody's
No,
been a
he's not,
police.
but I can.
All right,
Absolutely.
sing it.
Do it
Sing
with
'em to
that,
us.
that Arkansas accent,
know,
please.
Growing up in Camden, because I was born and raised here, everybody knows who Buckshot is. And, being at school, he would come riding by the school. And of course, we're waving, but he's always honking and he'd hit the lights for us. And we always thought that was exciting, but with me being the public relations officer here at the department, it has been fun, getting to know him better through this kind of stuff. And he can't go anywhere without somebody stopping their vehicle, running up to him, or if he goes in any establishment, he'll have a line of people, just wanting to say hi to him. So he's probably better at public relations than I am.
Well, and that's honestly, it's fantastic. And, with this job right now, and especially what's, going on in the country, this division people have about policing, and to have somebody like Buckshot that's part of your department that everybody can resonate, towards, that they want to come up, they want to talk to you, they want to take pictures with, especially for the kids coming forward. And that way they're not fearful of that uniform or an officer,
Exactly.
In uniform. It is a huge, huge deal to have something like that for your police department. So good for you guys
It
there in
is.
Camden.
Well,
It
he said something earlier about, he says a gun and a badge doesn't make a police officer. So I assume that he's a pretty good role model to other police officers around there too. This is, hey, you got this, you
Yeah.
got this vast reference here of a man that's been a police officer for longer than I've been alive, that all the other cops can kind of go to and go, hey, I got a little, I don't know how to handle this situation. Mr. Smith, can you help me with it? Is that how it goes around there?
They do that. We've got, we have 3 rookies right now. Is that right?
Yes.
3.
Yes.
And they will be in the report room or you know, off in another office, and he will go in there and talk to them, and he will tell them that you've got to teach people, you know, you've got to give them respect to get respect.
Absolutely.
And so he talks to them on that level instead of the technology, I guess, of it.
Right.
It's he teaches them more about being in the public and how important community policing is at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit it right on the head. The technology through the years. I mean, even my time here in policing, you know, when I first came on, we didn't have laptops. We didn't have a body cam, you know, things like that. And police
Right.
we don't like change. So when those things came around, we were not fans of them. But you know, the guys that come on the department now, you know, that's all they know. And so that's how they think it is. But this job is not about the technology, and just as Buckshot was saying, the badge and the gun that's not what makes a police officer. It's that person that is genuinely getting out there, and whether it's community policing or you're trying to reduce the violent crime in a certain area by getting out and being proactive and talking to the good people there, as well as dealing with the bad people. I mean, that's ultimately what this job comes down to, whether it's someone that started back in 1958 or it's someone brand new coming on in 2021, it's the same concept.
You're
But-
right. It is.
Well, we want to wish you a happy birthday, Mr. Smith. I can't bring myself to actually call
Yeah.
you Buckshot. I mean, I feel like my mom's going to pinch me by the ear if I call you Buckshot. So, Mr. Smith, we
Yeah.
wish you a very happy birthday. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience before we leave?
I like to say, instead of using a gun, that's what the taser for.
Right.
You can tase somebody and get them to stop, you know, instead of shooting them.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Absolutely.
All righty, Buckshot. Well, cheers to you. Happy birthday. We're gonna hit the glasses here. One more drink for you before we close out Cocktails and Cocktails.
And thank
Yeah.
you for
Yeah.
picking with us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
All right.
Well, you guys take care. We appreciate you being on.
Thanks, Miss Dana. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all so much.